So we were talking about
Okay.
egos.
Yes, the ego. And so we were talking about when there are people who are not comfortable with communicating their emotions and their feelings, they
Yes.
retreat into a shell.
Yes.
And so let's talk about when it's um, ramifications.
So I am a person who is currently that's like something that I'm working on. Um, learning how to not suppress my emotions and just speak on things that need to be spoken on. Now, we all know that there's some things that just need to be left unsaid, like just don't even worry about it, don't even give it no energy. But then there's also other things and that we face where it's just like, okay, you need to say your piece. Like, all right, you need to let them know. You need to communicate. You need to express whatever it is how you feel for them to understand where you're coming from. So something about that where I just so one of my many reasons why I do it, why I find myself doing it, is because you ever find yourself in a situation where you want to express something to somebody, but you already know that they don't have the capacity to understand where you're coming from.
Never,
So
never have I been in a situation like I can't even imagine being in a situation like that.
you just choose to it's just save your breath, save your energy because it's just like you already know that they don't have the capacity to receive you on the level that you're coming from. So you just choose to save your breath because it's just like it's not even worth it because they're not even
So,
gonna understand you.
I want to add something about saving your breath
Yeah.
because the reality is, there was this book I read years ago
Okay.
by the gentleman named Eckhart Tolle, and he talked about ego,
Hmm.
and that ego is when you identify with something so strongly. It could be a house, a neighborhood, salary, a
Yeah.
husband, a wife, kids, whatever.
Yes.
He called it form. When you identify with that stuff so much, it it tends to work against you because then you
Listen.
become desperate and you start feeling like you gotta hold this whatever this
Image, this
image, yeah.
facade, this
And
portrayal, this performance, this
and it's paralyzing for some people. I know for me, I can't like I went through a period in life where I would say I was pretending and I don't have the room to do it anymore.
and when you say ego was a form.
So in this book, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, he talks about ego and he said ego is the attachment to form. And form can be anything like your job, your title, your salary, your home, your car, your kids, being a parent. You have such a strong attachment to it that it can basically be your enemy at the same time
Hmm.
because you only see things through a lens.
Right. You
Like,
make that your personality.
yes. Even like when, people talk, for civil rights, it's like if you're such a strong civil rights person, sometimes you may look for problems where there are,
Yeah.
and that's no knock to civil rights. So I don't want somebody coming for me later
Not at all.
because, these are civil rights advocates right here.
Okay. All right.
But we're just saying that when you get attached to something, sometimes you can lose sight of the other perspective or the balance in the situation or what maybe the right direction might be.
And that goes for anything. An excessive amount of anything is unhealthy for you. And that can even be going down to even like drinking water. An excessive amount of anything can be unhealthy for you. So that's pretty much like what we're trying to put down. Like
Yeah.
it's not about like what it is necessarily per se, but like any excessive amount of like whatever substance that you're consuming, whether it be like a mental, physical, emotional type of substance, like however you're, you know, an excessive amount of that, regardless of what it is and how it comes, can be unhealthy.
Mhm.
Even down to water, fruit, vegetables, like being healthy, like there's a such thing as going to the gym too much. But that's what we saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So continue.
Moderation. You know,
Yeah.
this is thing that I learned to adapt, and
Hmm.
it's call it conserve and ration.
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
You conserve, you
Okay.
save things up, and then you ration it out,
Mm-hmm.
like in small pieces.
Yeah.
So if you have your savings account and you're doing things, you may be using it, but using it in small doses
Right.
where you're not eating it up. So it's like, conserve, build
Yeah.
up your supply, but then, be it's all about portion control, I guess.
I learned something recently that said the difference between medicine and drugs is the dosage.
Mm,
So, like you said,
mm. Difference
moderation,
between medicine and drugs is dosage.
moderation.
Okay, Jim.
Moderation. It's not always about how much we consume. Like a lot of times people come to me about like health questions and stuff like that, and about like the food that they eat. Like recently I was in the gym and this girl that I recently met in there before. She was really sweet. She was asking me about like things that she should eat. She's trying to like slim down and stuff like that. And she was just telling me like the type of things that she does eat. And I was like, well, it's not necessarily that you gotta like stop eating that stuff. Don't get me wrong, it does help if you stop eating that stuff. But I was like, if you don't want to completely like remove that from yourself, you don't have to.
Mhm.
Just be more mindful and more like cautious of how much you consume it. You know what I'm saying? Just be mindful of the amounts that you consume it in. You don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to like remove something to be healthy. Just change the dosage and you consume it in. Moderation is key. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So I want to move us along and talk because you have brought up something on the break
mm,
where you talked about um, people assume that you're against their goals,
yeah.
right? This
Mm-hmm.
can be in relationships, friendships, friendships, whatever. But it's like they assume that because you may have a different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
that you're against their goal
Mm-hmm.
when your intention is really to help them get to the goal.
Right.
So, tell me a little bit about when you assume someone is against your goals. Help the people who are listening understand what does that look like so that they know how to identify if that's them or not.
When you assume something is against your goal, so like if somebody is giving you like constructive criticism and they're
Hmm.
saying like, "Hey, I noticed you do this way," or like, and I just want to give you a little bit of like insight of what it looks like from the outside looking in. And they're trying to tell you they're trying to not only recognize what you did wrong, but they're trying to teach you what to do right.
Hmm.
Give you feedback on how
Hmm.
you can do better. That's how you decipher the difference between the two when people are giving you criticism versus when they're giving you constructive criticism. Pay attention to.
How do you determine which is which?
So for me, I determine it in a way it's just like, okay, they're pointing out, they're making me, see what I did wrong. And not only that, they're not making the whole thing about that. They're helping me like giving me some type of insight to like see it like in a different way or learn something about it. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching me something about it. Instead of just making it all about what I did wrong, they're also teaching me how to do it better. Or like with like teaching me what they know, sharing like the
So
knowledge.
that reminds me of something. So there's
Mhm.
this terms I've heard, and it's called eustress. It's EU stress, the word stress, eustress,
Like you're
and the word distress.
okay.
And the difference between eustress and distress is eustress is like you go to the gym, and you know how in the beginning it's really hard lifting those weights, but
It's always hard.
eventually you're getting better.
Yeah.
Well, that's what eustress is.
Okay.
It's stress that helps you get better,
Yeah.
right? And you feel better and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Distress is the complete opposite. Distress is what tears you down.
Right.
It's the, negative comments that people may have made to you. It's the negative things you tell yourself. And that is the biggest thing, we're going to always feel stress. People think, oh, I want to be
Yeah.
stress free. No, you're going to experience eustress or distress, which one?
Right.
But eustress helps you, get better.
You know what?
Well,
That's something that I tell people, like when they get like, that's something that I have told people and like tell myself, like, you know what, if I'm gonna be stressed about something, I'm gonna be stressed about something that's worth it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna be stressed about something, I'm gonna be stressed about something like working a job, for instance. When we all know how working a job, corporate job, or whatever type of like where you have to answer to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know how that can be stressful. We've all had our own experiences. If you're grown, you work a job, and you work one long enough, it don't even take that long. You can know easily how it is. Okay, yeah, let's take a drink off there. A job can stress you out if you let it. Hold on.
You know, I must say I've had jobs that I enjoyed.
Yeah,
What stressed me out wasn't the job. It was always people.
yeah. It's never the job.
It
It's
was
never the work.
someone who was decided that, hey, I'm gonna, you know,
Micromanage, try to dictate, invade your personal life, personal space, tell you what you can and can't say.
decided.
You know, tell you what you didn't do. You always do great, but you never hear nothing about what you do when you go to the extra mile. You go to the extra limbs. You've been over backwards 7 times. The minute you have one off day where you're going through something in life and it's getting to a point where you just say you're just going and you just go into work with whatever you're dealing with because we all have those days. Because like you said, we all dealing with something. We all have struggles.
Mhm.
We all have things we're dealing. We all have sad stories. We're all human. We all have lives. So it's just like, the 1 minute you have an off day due to those things, just you just have an off day, they happen. Progress is non-linear when we go through life. Like some days gonna be up here, some days gonna be down here, but that don't mean you're not getting nowhere. Just because you're down here, that don't mean you didn't move further on. You know what I'm saying? So, the minute you have that one day where it's just like an off day, that's when they're saying like, oh, what's going on with you today? Da, 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 da. But when you going 3 weeks strong and like no discrepancies, no errors, no this, no that. Oh, you don't hear nothing. It's just silent.
Well, one of the things I find is helpful because, I've been in situations where people are used to me smiling at work, and then one day I wasn't smiling, something was wrong when I
Mhm.
just didn't have the energy,
Exactly.
right? And letting people know ahead of time
Yeah.
how you are, like as you're building relationships, and say, listen, I tend to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pay me no mind. It ain't whatever. It's just,
Right. Right.
and you'll be surprised how people will respond to you when you let them know in advance who you are.
Yeah.
They're less offended by things you do, and it kind of speeds up how you get things done.
Yeah. Cause like right, one thing I let people know off the bat, like is like, look, if you text me, if you call
Hmm.
me, and if I don't answer, if I don't respond, don't take it personal. It's nothing
Hmm.
really. I just don't like always being like you probably met me in extrovert mode. But naturally, it's just like I don't like to be bothered. My phone has
Hmm.
been on do not disturb for like the last 2.5 years now, almost. Like like if I don't text you back immediately, or if I don't answer your call immediately, or return your call immediately, like that,
So
don't. That's something I always
I'm
tell
going to
people like,
ask
don't
the
take it personal.
question. So, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Ambivert,
Okay, ambivert over here.
which is
Mm.
I like to be. I enjoy being an introvert more, more often than not. But I know how to be extrovert
Right.
when I need to be,
Well,
or when I want to be.
I'm introvert. I call myself an extroverted introvert.
Okay,
All
ambivert.
right.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is that I know how to do the extroversion when it's necessary.
Oh,
I just have a limited amount of time to do it.
that battery, your lifetime long.
You
Listen,
know what I'm
that
saying?
battery, it has to go
So,
get recharged just
right.
like anything else. Like